You're backed by arguably one of the greatest of all time, right?
What are we rating ourselves on? What are we rating on?
Okay.
Well, we want to know in the least amount of fights. You know, I didn't have to have 70 fights or 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
Tedeschi claimed he would beat Floyd even more convincingly than he beat Spence. Crawford responded by saying that everyone talks boldly. People have even called out Floyd Mayweather himself.
Who do you think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd? You know, that's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah, nah.
Floyd's reaction exploded across social media almost immediately. His response carried that familiar calm, icy confidence. But people close to him say he wasn't as unfazed as he appeared. Behind the polished delivery and trademark poker face, insiders claimed this was the first time in a long while that someone didn't just imply they could outbox him. They flat out said they could stop him. Not outpoint him, not edge him, stop him. It wasn't just Crawford's words that hit a nerve. For Floyd, it touched something deeper: pride, legacy, and the uncomfortable idea that the sport he once dominated might now be controlled by a new king. The clip that ignited everything premiered on a major combat sports podcast just 2 nights earlier. Fresh off his monumental win over Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford sat down for an interview when the host dropped one of those dangerous fantasy matchup questions fighters usually sidestep. How do you think it would go if both you and Floyd met in your primes? Crawford leaned back, cracked a grin, and delivered the line that detonated boxing Twitter. It would have been easier for me to stop Floyd than it was to stop Spence. Floyd's great, but I'm better. That single comment blew up instantly. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag Crawford versus Floyd and hashtag GOAT debate were trending worldwide.
Yo, yeah, so if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Oh, shit, okay, I'm just asking. Floyd was pound for pound before.
That would have been a hard fucking fight, though.
Man, me versus anybody, I'm gonna always say me.
Okay.
Come on now.
It wasn't just the confidence in Crawford's voice that shook the room, it was how genuine it felt. Crawford isn't reckless, and he isn't delusional. When you study his resume, the dominance he showed against Errol Spence, the way he cracked the code on Canelo Alvarez and forced a stoppage 2 divisions up, you realize he calculates everything. Nothing he says is random, and Floyd knows that.
You could take a guy like Canelo, this guy could do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Here's the real situation. Since retiring, Floyd Mayweather has built an entire brand around staying at the center of attention. Every interview, every media appearance, every exhibition bout, it's all crafted to keep his name in the spotlight. But by 2025, that grip starts to loosen. His exhibition with Mike Tyson is entertainment, a spectacle meant for views and nostalgia. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford is out here altering the sports record books for real. Crawford isn't chasing headlines, he's creating legacy.
Who do you think's better out of those two? Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moving weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have had the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
Crawford isn't chasing quick paydays or flashy spectacles. His focus is on cementing greatness. And that's exactly what's been getting under Mayweather's skin. The idea that someone could be shifting the spotlight through achievement rather than promotion is something Floyd isn't used to handling.
And I'm gonna get a lot of too, but honestly, there could be the way where you put Crawford over Mayweather. Because of going up, you didn't see Mayweather go up from 147 to 168. That's crazy, bro. And honestly, I thought Crawford was gonna have more of a hard time because he had a hard time with Madronov. So imagine going up to it. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, but I don't want to take nothing away from Mayweather. Mayweather is the greatest of all time. But I think that was a really big risk that Crawford took, and then he ended up winning. You know what I mean? So you have to give credit to that too. I mean, that's a big risk. That'd be like me going up and fighting Usyk right now, heavyweight.
I know that's been kind of hinted.
I'm not thinking of that right now. I'm not thinking of that right now. But that's kind of like how that'd be. You know what I mean? So you have to, bro. That's a lot of. He has a lot of balls to do that, and not only to go do that to show the world that he's really like that.
For years, critics have accused Mayweather of mastering the art of perfect timing, choosing opponents carefully, minimizing danger, and maximizing revenue. And in many ways, they weren't wrong. His business instincts were unmatched. But that strategy also left him open to a certain kind of criticism. Crawford, on the other hand, is taking a completely different path. He's fighting elite challengers right in their prime and climbing through weight divisions without hesitation. It's a level of risk Floyd never embraced, and Crawford's comments call out not Mayweather's skill, but the cautious philosophy that defined much of his career.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's part.
But this is where the situation gets even more interesting. People familiar with Mayweather's camp say he took the remarks as a personal slight, not because of the words themselves, but because of the person who said them. Remember, Mayweather mentored Gervonta Davis, guided his career, and built his promotional empire around loyalty and influence. Crawford, meanwhile, never relied on Floyd for anything. He didn't train under him, didn't sign with him, and never adopted Mayweather's blueprint. Crawford built his reputation independently, a rarity in the sport, and that independence is exactly what makes Floyd feel challenged.
I beat this guy. It's his excuse. I beat this guy. You know, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really going to give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, you know, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. You know, we really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, you know. And the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. And I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, you know. So I just think, you know, when you that much better than the competition, you know, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man, that dude was good.
Mayweather feels threatened for one simple reason. Crawford operates completely on his own terms. One person inside Floyd's promotional circle even said that Mayweather sees a version of himself in Crawford, but without the need for political maneuvering or media manipulation. Crawford is building a legacy in a way that mirrors Floyd's early career, yet he isn't playing the business games that Mayweather relied on. And that's the part Floyd can't stand. He's never liked the idea of being compared to someone who could potentially surpass him, especially someone he had no hand in creating or mentoring.
Today I'll let you know there's no fighter that will ever be better than me. There's no fighter that wasn't better than me before me or after me or when I'm long gone. I'm the best.
Crawford isn't trying to follow Mayweather's blueprint at all. He's rewriting the game in his own way. Interview 10. To understand why this debate has become so heated, you have to look at the contrast between the two fighters. Mayweather is regarded as one of the most technically flawless boxers ever, rarely losing rounds, let alone entire fights. His defensive mastery made even the hardest punchers look ordinary. Crawford, meanwhile, is built in a completely different mold. He thrives on chaos, then breaks opponents down with precision. He's not focused on edging out rounds. He's focused on inflicting damage and taking control.
Where does he rank now, all time? Ending this interview.
Number one, and the only one that he got at top is Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Terence Crawford is this generation guy. You know what I'm saying? Accomplishing all the goals that he accomplished.
Matched up? How do they match up, Floyd and Terence?
Hey, I'm like this, man. It's going to be great because Floyd, he's about his work. He put in work. We've been watching it for decades. You know what I'm saying? Him coming out of retirement to do this fight, that's a win for the whole world boxing. Every generation from Floyd generation to this generation didn't get to see it come. That's just like we never get to see Michael Jordan play, right? But we remember when he used to play. Come on. So
Crawford faced Errol Spence. Fans anticipated a brutal slugfest. What they witnessed was something far more precise. Crawford methodically broke Spence down, sending him to the canvas 3 times before finishing the fight with surgical precision, turning chaos into control.
In the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Mayweather has never delivered a performance quite like this against top-tier opponents. While he played a pivotal role in Canelo's development, Canelo was still early in his career and far from his prime. Crawford, on the other hand, defeated a champion in a higher weight class, demonstrating dominance few have ever achieved. That's why many modern analysts openly debate whether Crawford's skill set may surpass even Floyd's at his peak. Roy Jones Jr. noted that while Floyd's technique was incredibly smooth, Crawford is achieving something unprecedented: total control over the fight from start to finish.
I didn't expect that the fight will be like that, but I thought it will finish 12 rounds. But Crawford he did a good job.
Is Crawford time for pound number one? Time for pound number one?
I think so. Pretty much. I don't think.
Do you feel like they need a rematch, Manny, after what you saw tonight?
I don't know if there's a rematch.
That's all we gotta go.
It's kind of a one-sided fight.
Manny, does this fight make Terence Crawford an all-time great in your eyes?
Well, he's still in his career, so he's prime in his career. So we'll see. We'll see the journey of his life.
Max Kellerman offered a sharp analysis. Mayweather fights to maintain control, while Crawford fights for legacy and honor. That distinction is what makes this matchup so compelling and unique.
Because when you mention great fighters, right? 90% of your great fighters are black, the ones from the past. Now, with the Eastern Bloc coming on like they are, there's going to be some great ones coming on now. Even with Lil Tony, as you see, these guys are going to be great. They're going to start eclipsing and coming up there too. But right now, if you had to name 5 of the best fighters of all time, 4 of them are going to be black. You understand me? Who did he beat that was black in his prime, that was in their prime, that was on his level? Nobody.
Mayweather, on the other hand, has always been about protection. Protecting his record, his business, and his legacy. He highlights his 50-0 record, his financial success, and his dominance in pay-per-view. Crawford, however, doesn't seem concerned with stats. His goal is to build a lasting reputation in the sport. That's why this feels like a symbolic passing of the torch, even if Mayweather isn't ready to let it go. Mayweather's success came from perfect timing and minimizing risk. Crawford's era is about growth, challenge, and taking bold chances. He might lose someday, but if he does, it will only be because he dared to risk everything to achieve greatness.
It's wild, because like if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time.
Oh, yes.
That makes a difference to people.
Crawford did amazing. He a legend, man. 3-time undisputed. You got to take his hat up to him. He went up 2 weight classes and dominated a legend, So my hat goes up to him, and he's all respect.
Do you think Canelo is the same guy that he was before? You think he's completely fallen off?
Canelo's Canelo, you know what I mean? Canelo's a legend, bro. You gotta, at the end of the day, whatever happened that fight, that don't diminish his career, his image. You feel me? I think right now, he's at that time where he took an L, but he ain't take an L, you know what I'm saying? He got paid and he a legend at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So if he want to walk over in the sunset right now, his name, his last name is in the cement, you know what I'm saying, as one of the greatest Mexican fighters in the world.
I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but Crawford does have all the titles. You're a really big name. He's kind of in your way right now, a little bit. Is that a fight where you're just like, yeah, me and him get it on for sure?
Not for sure. Definitely, you know what I'm saying? We don't duck no smoke. But, right now, I'm focused on my comeback fight, you know what I'm saying? I got to put my head down, whatever happened my last fight is through, but, that ain't dim my light at all, you know what I'm saying? I'm still a superstar, I'm still a star, I'm still the king of New York, man, I'm fly, I look good, I fight good, man, so,
This is what separates true icons from mere celebrities. Floyd Mayweather understands that distinction better than anyone. That's why he continues to appear in conversations, commenting on the new generation of fighters vying for attention. His frequent reminders of wealth, business acumen, and his undefeated record reflect his unease with the shifting definition of excellence in boxing. Time and progress cannot be controlled, and the question now is, what comes next? Insiders suggest Floyd may respond in person, likely to reassert his dominance by showcasing his accomplishments. But the Crawford era isn't waiting. Fans have already started rewriting the narrative, and Mayweather's words hold less sway than ever. Sources note that Crawford no longer focuses on Floyd. He's charting his own path. Where once Floyd's calm public demeanor symbolized modern boxing mastery, Crawford now embodies a more aggressive, championship-driven image, gold around his waist and fire in his eyes. Interestingly, Floyd may have inadvertently helped pave the way for Crawford. By setting such a high standard for success over so many years, he gave Crawford a blueprint for what it takes to surpass it. Still, respect is due. Mayweather revolutionized the sport, built an empire, earned more than any fighter in history, and defeated the top stars of his era. Crawford, however, is redefining greatness on his own terms. He has faced losses, learned from them, and refuses to chase fame. He fights for legacy. While Floyd may be correct that certain standards have shifted, what was once considered the peak of boxing excellence now serves as Crawford's foundation. He is building a new era, one measured not just by invincibility, but by risk, courage, and the pursuit of lasting impact.
And I beat him, but we both been out there, they say he's over the hill. But then when Pacquiao fights him, they say, oh, this is the greatest thing we ever seen. So then when I fight Hatton, they say I'm too big for Hatton, but then they say...
No, nobody said that. You got full credit for both of those wins, Floyd. That's why you became a superstar.
No, I did not.
Yes,
no,
you
I
did.
Did not. No,
sure
I did
you
not.
did. From me, I gave you full credit. If you're talking to me now, I gave you full credit for that.
Am I going to speak my piece or not? Am I going to speak my piece or not?
Go ahead.
Okay, because you want to interview me. I ain't interviewing you. You want to talk to me. I don't worry about talking.
Floyd,
you want to talk to me.
Go ahead. I'm waiting on you.
So then, when I fight Hatton, they said, oh, Mayweather is too big for Hatton. But then, Marquez and Pacquiao can fight, it's no problem. But now, but I'm too big for Marquez. I'm too big for Marquez, but I'm not too big for Pacquiao. Which one is it?
Well,
which one is it?
Which one is it?
Which one is it?
It's that Pacquiao was 130 pounds and he keeps moving out and whacking guys who are much bigger. He gets full credit.
The world is watching closely. Crawford has stated he still has a few fights left before considering retirement. There's potential for matchups with Bannies, Canelo, or even a move up to 160 pounds to pursue another title, keeping fans eagerly anticipating his next steps.
We had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We even had the conversation go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I love you, Terrence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's a chess master.
Yeah, his IQ and
But
that
the funny thing about it is Terrence has been the only other guy that people can say he always figures it out.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
But you gotta have an OG somewhere.
Anybody
though.
else? Yeah.
There's an OG
Somebody
somewhere.
got a pioneer, right? Yeah, you gotta.
There's an OG you can't out figure out
Yeah,
somewhere, and I just
yeah.
believe Floyd is that OG you can't out figure out.
From this point forward, everything Crawford does adds to his legacy. Make no mistake, this isn't just a career path, it's a passing of the torch. The former king and the new king. One preserved his reputation, while the other is forging his through calculated chaos. One fought to secure wealth and comfort in later years. The other is defining his era through risk, skill, and ambition. Fans remember the previous generation's battles, fought with retirement in mind. Crawford is fighting to change the game itself.
As his trainer, do you feel like you should just sell off into the sunset after this monumental
Well,
win?
you know what? He made it look so easy. You know what I'm saying? Got 2-3 more in him. You know what I'm saying? Training camp will try harder. You know what I'm saying?
You think a move to 160 would make sense?
I mean, if you want to do it, you know, it'd be a challenge. If you want to challenge yourself, yeah, I don't mind.
Finally, part of Floyd's reaction may stem from the fact that the one fighter capable of matching him in a fantasy bout, Crawford, doesn't need to prove it in the ring. Crawford has already established himself as a top-tier talent, earning the respect of fans and analysts alike. What do you think? Was Floyd's response justified, or did Crawford simply speak the truth and signal that a new era has begun? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth boxing analysis.